What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Kickback. I am your host, The Dude. We're here today with my man,
Jaffee Judah.
Jaffee Judah. He's going to explain to us about his organization and what he has going on in the community because it is something needed. Because in low-income communities, we really don't know about the earth. So he started a program to teach youth about earth and about recreating earth because you keep building land, you keep building houses, the earth is being taken away. So we have to preserve what we have. So tell us about this building and how we got here.
Indeed, man. First and foremost, thank you
You're
for
welcome.
giving out the opportunity to share my story on your platform
Yes, sir.
and to come back to a child home place.
Right.
That means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
How we got here is a very long story,
Okay.
I would say. But right here, where we are is 16 North 3rd. And I used to live and hang out on Arrington in Eastland, which is about 2 blocks or a block up from this street.
Okay.
And when I was coming up, it looked very different than what it looks now.
Okay.
Um, and I was also involved in a whole different path than what I am now.
Okay.
Um, Today, I am the executive director, co-founder of Recycle and Reinvest, as well as the author of a children's book called Earth Day in the Hood.
Earth Day in the Hood. That's beautiful. Now, how did you go about writing a children's book coming from your background? How did you envision writing a children's book?
So it started with an idea
Okay.
when I was incarcerated.
Okay.
And got incarcerated when I was like 15. Stayed
Mm-hmm.
incarcerated till I was like 22.
Okay.
But before that, growing up out east, I was going to church with my grandfather, who was a pastor at Ramsey Street, as well as uh, just hanging out in the neighborhood,
Right.
and uh, at home, I think the things I dealt with at home kind of dictated who I became out in the community,
Right.
as well as how I started to develop myself when I was incarcerated on the inside.
Okay.
And, coming from a lifestyle of living in the streets and going into reading, I would say, more pro-Black literature, of authors like Carter G. Woodson, um, Stokely Carmichael,
Yes.
Man, Gregory, what's his name? Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory.
Um,
Yes.
you know, these different authors and different leaders like Marcus Garvey, His and Pearl Madison, Haile Selassie, learning about the teachings of Rastafari. These things enlightened my mind that kind of centered my spirit to want to be more um, conscientious on
Okay.
how I communicate with God and how I receive the messages
Yes.
into myself, my path with God, um, as well as in the harmony of nature,
Yes.
right? So, um, speaking broadly on my path is basically me just saying like, hey, this is how I started to get into channeling the words to be able to write about different eco-conscious issues, different approaches to my not having knowledge of self. All those things just kind of start to, I guess, get repurposed into the books and into my music,
Right.
into my poetry,
Yes.
and eventually thinking of an idea of Jaffee and the Fairy Godbrother was actually the first name of the book. And then once I got out of prison, I was able to get immersed into the environmental justice movement. And that is what sparked me to change the direction of that book to focus on BIPOC communities that are um, BIPOC communities that are not appropriately included in the conversation of environmental injustice,
Okay.
right? I feel like we haven't been considered,
Okay.
and we haven't been considered as we need to be, because when it comes to sustainability, Black people, brown people, um, a lot of ancestral practices were sustainable
Right.
before that word
Right.
even existed.
Right.
So recycle and reinvest what we are today. Uh, like I said, as I came from these roots and my path steered me away, I came back to my roots to reinvest in my community,
Okay.
which is why this mural I want to show y'all got put up. So this mural says Lifehouse, my face 445312, and there's gonna be some more stuff that get placed right here. But this mural was done by Woke 3, and he's an artist here from Nashville, and he wanted to do this mural as a testament of the work that we've been doing in the community for the last really 15 years, but like on paper, almost 10.
Okay.
So, and this mural's not done yet. The Lifehouse represents the community and where we are. He wanted to put my face on somewhere, and I was like, well, I don't know where to put it, so we just put it on this wall.
Hey.
You know, at first I didn't because I felt like it was gonna be like real egotistical, but then I was like, then I got in my head and I was like, bruh, I mean, you ain't choose this. He giving this to you. So that's God showing you a blessing. That's God like acknowledging you. And my name, Jaffee Judah. Jaffee means beautiful. Judah means praise or worship unto God. So my name, a beautiful praise and worship unto God, is literally manifested in the East Nashville community through the beautification efforts of like this mural, the beautification efforts of like how we plant the trees, how we pick up the trash. As I set my intentions every day, I have been able to literally manifest my dreams and what I wrote down.
Okay. Man, that is beautiful. That coming from East Nashville, being incarcerated for the time that you were incarcerated, and being able to give back to the community in the manner that you've given back is so amazing, man. And a lot of people don't understand that. They always say they talk about the other side of it. Crime and all of this at a young age is a pathway to prison, the pipeline. They call it the pipeline to prison. They don't talk about the prison pipeline of coming out, the system actually working, and you working for yourself, because the system only can work if you work it.
Correct.
And it sounds like you worked the system and you understood that there was something bigger on the other side of that. You took what you were given and you turned it into a positive and you turned it into a lesson. Because here's what I always say: there's a young man, there's a young woman out here somewhere that thinks that whatever they're going through right now is there forever, not knowing that tomorrow is a different day. Next week is a different week. Next month is a different month. And what you're going through right now is not going to be your forever. And you're proof of that.
Correct.
Because you were in these streets selling drugs, doing whatever you were particularly doing. And it sent you to a place where you understood, okay, this is punishment for the things that I do. So let me take my time and understand I need to do something to rebrand myself in a sense and come out and to accomplish this. How many years since you were incarcerated has this been going?
How many years since I was incarcerated?
When you got out, from getting out to where we are today, how many years has your organization been going
on? Since 2018. Okay. So yeah, since 2018. And since 2018, man, we've been able to mentor over 200 students. We've been able to plant over 52 trees. We've been able to we've cleaned over 150 neighborhoods, from mostly Nashville to some in Memphis, or one in Memphis on what is that called? Starts with a C, Casino. something like that. I can't think of it right now.
Hey.
But big ups to Marquita Bradshaw, So Injustice. We just do it like that. Big ups to 200 Man Stand, Lamar London.
Yes,
we
sir.
just do it like that. Thank y'all for inviting us down.
Hey, man, it's beautiful to do collaborations. That's why we're here with you today
Mm-hmm.
from the Kickback, man, because we want to understand and show people that if you can get your mind right, you can accomplish whatever you want to. And just because you are a man that was incarcerated, just because you're a man that made mistakes before, doesn't mean you can't redeem yourself.
Indeed.
You can't redeem yourself, and you can't do something different for the community that they say we quote unquote destroyed.
Indeed.
And so now you're trying to rebuild the community and make it better for those that are coming behind us.
I am. We are. That is, we have these 4 pillars: healthy being, healthy living, healthy community, healthy eating, right? And around these 4 pillars, we implement our B4L environmental justice festivals, and not only bring out our partners, but also bring out the community and have a moment where we celebrate our soil soldiers, youth that went through our program.
Give us B4L. What does that stand for, and what's the initiative with B4L?
B4L is an environmental justice army. Okay. B4L is Environmental Justice Network. B4L is an acronym that stands for Bang for Liberation. Okay. And when you bang for liberation, you are choosing to direct your energy and direct your focus towards not finding or seeking justice on your own people, but finding and seeking justice for people who have been hurt by the system. Okay. Right. So
did B4L come before Recycle and Reinvest?
It did. It did.
So how did Recycle and Reinvest come out of B4L, and what was the brain thoughts behind Recycle and Reinvest?
Indeed. So B4L, the focus was to heal the block and be boots on the ground, frontline generals, right? Okay. And then Recycle Reinvest, they are the education asset to the community that uses recycling as a tool for resistance in white supremacy structures, right? Or they using recycling as a tool for resistance when it comes to uh, countering the impacts of environmental racism, right? Redlining, gentrification, because as we better learn how to decolonize our mind, decolonize our hustle, decolonize the way that we approach building relationships, right? That can change your whole ecosystem to where you're not surviving but thriving, right? And being able to live in somewhat of a flow state, because it really takes a village, but it takes a village of those who you are aligned with, not a village of everyone.
Now, here's something I learned last night during our show, because every Friday night we do a 2-hour live show where men come in and have conversations. And last night was a great conversation. We had some new guys, we had some old guys in there. It takes a village, and I get it with your soil soldiers because it's a kid. But what I learned is it takes the community.
Mm-hmm.
It takes the community. That means if it's someone from another side of town, if it means someone from another city, if it means someone from another wherever they may be outside of where you are, it takes a community in order to sustain a community. And that's what we have to learn in our urbanness. Because in our urbanness, you see you from the hood like I'm from the hood, because we're both natural natives and I grew up in this same neighborhood just as well. So this is great for me to be back here to see someone trying to reinvest into this community. But it's like some of us don't understand that we never owned anything. The hood mentality, this is my block.
Mm-hmm.
But you sold drugs on this block, you've caused chaos on this block, you may have even taken a life on this block. But what are you doing to cultivate this block?
Mm-hmm. I completely understand.
You've created all this discourse,
right,
on this quote unquote block that's yours that you don't own.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go to jail or something happens or whatever, and we get older because now we're older. We're not doing the same things we were doing 20 years ago. But I love the fact, my brother, that you have come back and you want to rebuild and you want to think about the people that are behind us and what they're seeing in the neighborhood and in the communities. There's not a lot of us out here. How many brothers are actually in the space that you're in with B4L and Recycle Reinvest?
We have a solid 12 generals in B4L that are boots on the ground, front line. That's doing everything from going inside the juvenile detention center to doing education outreach in the community, to implementing litter pickups. Right, that's with us. We have 12 generals. To even doing arts, things of that nature, because B4L can look different depending on the individual. But as a general, they all uh, embrace and abide by the Hermes principles, right? Which are 6 principles that we use to go into conversations or go into community, which are, be inclusive, speak for yourself, um, just relationships, building just relationships. Um,
That one word, man, is so big. Relationships,
yeah,
because a lot of people don't know how to cultivate relationships, at least in the form of generating uh, a difference.
transformative leadership. Yes, I.
Yes, yes. A lot of people don't know how to build relationships in order to transfer knowledge, because everyone's first interaction is the way you see people a lot of times. And if someone comes up to you and they're brash and they're harsh, then that's how you're going to remember them. So how are you going to build a relationship? How is there a transfer of knowledge when the first thought I have of you is, hey, you came off really brash to me. You were a butthole, you were ass, whatever it was. There's no transferal of power. But it sounds to me like you guys have implemented something to understand relationships
Mm-hmm.
and the transferal of knowledge and power.
Indeed, indeed. And a lot of the men and women that are a part of B4L, some of them started in prison with me, right? Such as Deron. A lot of them didn't grow up with me, such as Joseph, around Obasi, right? But that don't even matter to me. You know what I'm saying? That don't even matter at all because we here to do the work. It's just about them. It's just about, are you here to do the work? But it's also, are you here to do the work in the proper alignment? You get what I'm saying? So like, it's not just we're really not just a nonprofit, right? We really are like a movement that is bringing people in a space who have never did any of this type of work and finding themselves in it in their own way. And I think that is what helps with us building those relationships, because um, there's been plenty of people who have been a part of a lot of the work that we done, but they're not here anymore for whatever reason, right? So the people who are still here for these 10, 15 years, um, I have personally taken the time to nurture those relationships, due to the capacity I have, but also it takes an awareness of self, right? Having a certain awareness of self um, is a huge um, component of how you become more aware of others in that community, and how you build relationships. See?
So now we're inside your office. Let's talk about your office, man. It seems like you got. I love the recycle reinvest over here. You got a little place where you can break bread. Looks like, of course, you do seminars and things of that nature. We have a few diagrams laid out over here. What do we have going on over here?
So this is our office space. We've been here for like the last 10 years, where it started out. I used to actually come down here to feed the youth breakfast
Okay.
in the morning because I had so much free time on my hands when I first got out. But now we host our youth here every Saturday during the summer. We're gonna bring them back in the fall, to actually plant trees. They're on schedule to plant about 30 trees right
Wonderful.
right out front. And I'll invite y'all back to that. I would love for y'all to come out and join us.
Yes, sir.
And here we also create our content. We create music. We utilize the hydroponic garden in this space. And when it comes to the B4L generals, they also utilize this space for their meetings. And you had asked, is B4L real brotherhood?
Right.
I think you would have to get their perspective, to really get a better understanding about how they respond and feel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you can go to the B4L page on YouTube because we do have some testimonies. And we do have a documentary coming out too called B4L, the Environmental Justice Army. Okay. So
shouts out to that.
Big ups to them.
Yes.
Big ups to the whole tribe. Yes. But yes, I mean, in brotherhood also. I mean, brotherhood also weird to me because it leaves out our sisters. You know what I'm saying? Because it's also it's like it's more like a tribe, brotherhood, sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? It's a tribe because the women play a huge critical role of B4 as well, from preparing the meals to helping with leading certain projects like Kamita Wilson, who led cans for candy with the kids.
Listen,
right?
Thank you.
So all of these.
Listen, thank you for that.
Yeah, man.
Because here's the thing: a lot of people don't do that,
and
there is equality in everything you do. And now my movement may be about men, but I've also did interviews with women.
Indeed.
And I also encourage women to come on my Friday night show and just listen to the mind of a man. We're not on there shooting the shit. We're on there actually having real conversations about life, love, and mental health. We're really having conversations. So I always encourage women to come and listen. Just come and hear what's going on. And you're right, they do play a very, very important part. Yes, we are the men, we are the muscles, but women also are muscles too because they contribute in their own fashion.
Factual.
Contributed, so it's a tribe.
Factual.
I get that. And that's my apologies.
No, all is good because we getting to know each other's.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? And just like speaking more about this space, we like to empower and equip our youth to be proud of their blackness, proud of their brownness, proud of who they are. So a lot of the work that you see in here is like HBCU colleges. We had a civil rights art piece up, but we about to do some painting. Really, we about to do some renovating and stuff. But this is a space where I make sure that we feel safe to be ourselves. And we are cultivating those relationships. We are nurturing those ideas. This is a collaborative space where multiple organizations utilize to carry out everything from financial literacy classes to host podcast events to many things, man. Many things.
And that's beautiful because right now, that is one of those things that we, as a community podcast, the Kickback, we're always looking to collab and utilize people's spaces, and I love the feel here. So would that be something you would be interested in if I was like to call and say, hey, I've got a guest and could I come over and use your facility?
Yeah, you can go to Peerspace, and we rent it on Peerspace like $75 per hour, and that money goes towards Recycle Reinvest, so we can make sure we're paying our Wi-Fi. The bathroom is clean.
I love that. I love that. And see, I was just researching another facility, but theirs were a little more expensive than that.
Indeed, and for sure.
And it's not giving back to the community.
No.
So I would rather spend my money with someone who's giving back to the community and have a beautiful space than to rent some space on the other side of town for some other people.
Indeed.
Who does not care about me and you. They just care about the dollar.
But I think that's okay, though. It's okay to just care about the dollar because life is hard, bro. And life is bombarding us with so many issues, from our phone that we look at, to the TV that we watch, to the food that we eat, to the music that we hear, to the environment that we walk in, and the climate that attacks us. So it's very easy to get lost, right? And to get focused in trying to maneuver in this space of mind and reality, right? So as a Rastafari, I and I try to look at it as like, hey, everybody has their own path, but no path is the wrong path, right?
Very true.
Because in this Babylonian world, right, it's designed for us to program, and walk in a way of their rules and their uh, interests.
Right. Man, listen, I appreciate you being here to give us this interview. Your space is amazing. Like I said, I'm going to hit you up. We'll have to get that information on how I can reserve your space in order to do a few interviews. But we're about to get ready to get out of here. So I have one question for you. What do you feel like is your legacy that you're going to leave on this earth after you've perished?
What is my legacy that I feel like I'm gonna leave on this earth after I perish? Man, the legacy that I will leave is the legacy of Jaffee Judah. And that's just a narrow perspective that I can give you at this moment.
Yes.
Because what my legacy would truly be is not how I see it, but how I've impacted others, truly. Yes. So I really don't get caught up on what my legacy is going to be, because I focus more on how do I need to live to be aligned with the God in myself, that is the God in the nature. And since I've been on this path since 19, I've literally changed my whole life and literally manifested everything that I wanted to have, that I wanted to be, that I knew that I could become and do it with. Right. Yes, so my legacy, I really don't know what it will be, but whatever it is, I'm gonna make the most of it while I'm here now.
Man, I appreciate it.